You guys did a little bit of tag teaming, but on all you MCs, Rudd's on there a little more than other times. So, what was it about that song that made him want to, or made you guys have him on there a little more?
Rudd wrote the song. Yeah, Rudd wrote the song. So, Super Lover C and Casanova Rudd. Casanova Rudd was more of the DJ. Super Lover C was the writer and the rapper. That's how it really went. But I didn't realize this, but years later, a lot of people thought he wrote a lot of the lyrics, or he was, but he did not. I wrote a lot of his stuff in. So most of the lines, I know you like the jam, but his name you still seldom telling it. I wrote the line and said, okay, Rudd, this is where you come in and this is what you say, So, but at the end of the day, it was still Super Lover C and Casanova Rudd. So that's how that went. But all your MCs is something that Rudd wrote. He wanted to write. And we said, okay, cool. He's part of the group. Let him do what he do.
Okay. And then with Girls Act Stupid-Aly, and you do this somewhat a lot, you guys sampled yourselves. So what that was on the cusp of starting to being done a little more regularly. EPMD did a lot, of course. But what made you guys want to do that on the production side?
If you notice the trend with our production, we used a lot of what we'd said from the first one to the next one, and then it was something that we did. It was just part of how I wrote. We just took pieces of it's almost like a story, a big long story. You know what I mean? And when I think of it now, after all I just said about I'm back and all those different things, that's exactly what it was. One big long story. It told the story about Super Lover C and Casanova Rudd, one big complete album.
As you guys were going with the album, one of the ones that really stood out to me in a interesting or strange way was the Pump It Back, because it seemed sonically very disconnected from the rest of the album. Mm-hmm. So what was the whole genesis of that song?
Pump It Back was the answer to Push It by Salt-N-Pepa.
And that comes from the beat, but it sounded like Push It. So it's like your version of the showstopper, I guess.
So basically we were answering back, but we never really made it a big deal, which we probably should have. We never really said to Salt-N-Pepa, hey, this is our answer back to you guys. But we just wrote the record, Push It. Pump It Back, and to their Push It, we just didn't make a big deal out of it. We wanted to develop itself, but it didn't. It didn't the way we envisioned it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you, because musically it was so different, because it just has a totally different feel, sonically especially, did you guys, it's just perplexing to me because it's kind of incongruous musically to the rest of the album, and it's in the middle of the album too. It's not like it's at the end or something. Mm-hmm. So
I think, I'm sorry, to answer your question there, because you did answer me this question, you asked me the question already. The answer to that question I think it was the sample itself. Because you're right, sonically it did sound different. But I think it was the sample and how it was, basically how the production went, man, and the engineering. But that was the outcome. That was the outcome of Pump It Back.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then with Elektra, the album Girls Got 'Em Locked in '88, what was happening then between '88 and '91 from the album, then going to Epic, and then only putting out the Romeo and Gigolo single with Epic?
Just dealing with the death of Paul C, pretty much. So there was a big break there. Trying to figure out what was what, and picking up the pieces from that. That was a major thing. That was a major hit. Because Paul C was our engineer, the one of choice, and of course we went to Rod Way because at that time, Paul C, after doing Super Lover C and Casanova Rudd, all of a sudden became like huge. it came to a point that we couldn't even get into the studio to get Paul C to engineer for us.
Wow.
That's what ended up happening there. That's why we ended up going to Broadway.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he was overbooked, and we needed to produce the music for the deal that we got, and you know, we couldn't get in the studio, so we had to go to another one, and then after the death of Paul C, there was a big break, and we just had to kind of pick up the pieces and figure it all out.
Gotcha. And personally and creatively, how did you guys recover from that?
Wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but we did come out with Romeo. The Epic Deal went the way it went, you know. From what I understand, it was a major song, you know. A lot of people loved it. A lot of people didn't know about it, you know. So that went the way it went. Then from there, we tried to pick it up again, you know, with Wild Pitch.
Right.
Yeah.
Before we get to Wild Pitch real quick, the Gigolo I always thought was funny with all the game shows. So
yeah.
What was how'd you guys get that concept?
With Gigolo, with my buddy Derek D. Another great guy that I grew up with, went to high school with, good friend of mine, you know, who's doing amazing now with his acting career. Was a good buddy of mine. We wanted to give him an opportunity, and he had this funny song that we thought would be great. It was produced by another buddy of mine from the Nubian Crackers. So we decided, you know what? We needed a side B for it. What are we gonna do? You know what I mean? So we decided, let's get Derek on the other side. You know, give him an opportunity, and that's what we try to do. We just, you know, give him a break and help him out.
Gotcha. And then by the time when we get to Blow Up the Spot, the aesthetic had definitely changed. So of the cover of it in particular, the dress was more casual, I guess. So was that the casual look you wanted, or that's what you're saying Wild Pitch was pushing you toward, or what was happening?
Yeah, well, that's what they pushed us for. That's definitely not where we wanted to go. You know, things, you know, we wanted to be a little bit more hip hop. We did have different ideas. We had a difference in ideas. So we were at the table with that, like, nah, this is not what we want. And you know, so we went back and forth with that for a while, you know. Apparently they won, right? Apparently they won.
If we cover as evidence, yes.
Right, exactly.
Now, musically, also that one, you still have the drums and stuff, but there's a lot more, I would say, musicianship on that EP with some of the live instruments and different things going on. Yep. So creatively, what made you guys want to go down that road?
Well, again, creatively, it was something that Wild Pitch wanted to do. They had this vision. And what I understand, it was like this jazzy feel is what they were trying to go for. You know, so you live and you learn. We took that deal. We tried to go in a direction that would help them want to push it. You know what I mean? And that's why we agreed. I mean, if you guys, you know, if you got an idea and you want to push it, you know, we can make the music, and we did. And it is what it is.
Okay. Well, with Life of the Party too, you had some singing on there, which was also not something you guys were used to. So how did you guys make it work for you at the time to where you were comfortable with it?
Well, with Life of the Party, creatively, you know, I had a buddy, the guy who actually sang it. His name was Mike Woods, and Mike actually would sing that song all the time. You know, when we hung out places, birthday parties, you know, for people, you know, and we always thought he did an amazing job. So we wanted to get Mike, you know, again, another opportunity, you know, let's get Mike on a record, you know, and let's go with that Life of the Party. Let's try to work with something around that. And that's what we did. You know, we worked around what we thought was great. Mike did a great job on it. The song, you know, I still get people inbox me sometime and say, man, that Life of the Party record was dope, you know. So that's how we end up doing that. Another opportunity that we wanted to give to one of our buddies and help people, move forward.
Speaking of moving forward, the What Do You Know song also was surprising to me in the sense that that was the most political or social conscious, or however you want to label it, especially from you guys. So as a writer, what made you explore that topic?
What Do You Know was a Casanova Rudd song.
Okay.
That was a Casanova Rudd song, yeah.
So what made him and made you guys want to do that?
Again, something different. I think the energy too, with the way the production was going, what Wild Pitch wanted versus what we were trying to do. We were trying to keep what we had when they wanted to go in a different direction. Again, to try to make it work, you meet it in the middle ground. So we wanted, we changed a few things as to how we did it. And one of those things was, okay, we're going to get Rudd on the mic and let him work on the What Do You Know track. So we did.
And he wrote that one by himself?
Yeah.
Okay. And then when you see, I always was under the impression you might have helped him a little bit, but as a writer, then when you see Rudd doing that, like, how does that what did you feel or what did you get from that song that is different than maybe something that you wrote yourself?
Again, the energy on that entire project, the project just wasn't where we probably would have gone. So the energy there itself was different. So we just kept going with different, if that makes sense. That's all I really can say about that project. It was a little weird. It was odd to work on. It wasn't Super Lover C. And then, here we are, right? Years later, we don't know if that hurt us or helped us, right? It was different, but definitely wouldn't have been the way I would have gone. Okay. I wanted to go a whole different way. I mean, one of the songs that I loved off that song, off that project was 3 Wishes.
Okay.
But then it was a little slower and it wasn't that fast, Super Lover C. But then again, things change, life change, energy change. We lost a good friend. All those things, played a part or plays a part in production and output.
Be sure to check out the History of Gangster Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
There will be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Fab 5 on Yo MTV Back with NWA.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The History of Gangster Rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
It's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The History of Gangster Rap in stores now.